class, it's Miss Nika, and today I'm going to teach you how to shift the gears on your mountain bike. Learning how to shift gears is important in cycling because it can help make your ride more comfortable or more strenuous, depending on how or when you shift your bike. So first, let's get acquainted with the parts of the handlebars. So the handlebars will have a right and a left gear shift. Typically, the shifter on the right shifts the rear gear, which makes smaller, more fine-tuned changes, and the shifter on the left shifts the front gear, which makes large changes to the way your bike moves forward. Both shifters will have two levers, one in the front that shifts the gear up, and one at the bottom that shifts the gear down. The left shifter has three settings, one being the easiest, typically used for starting the bike forward and going up steep hills. 2 is the middle gear and is typically used on slightly hilly terrain without a lot of vertical climbing. 3 is the hard gear, which is typically used for very flat and straight surfaces where you want to get someplace very quickly. The right shifter has 8 settings. These gears are used to make fine-tune adjustments to how your ride goes along. The lower the number, the easier it will be to pedal, and the higher the number, the more difficult it will be to pedal, but the faster you'll go. The first cue I'm going to teach you today is observe your surroundings. Look around the environment you're cycling in. If you're on a flat terrain, it's probably a good idea to shift up until you can pedal comfortably. If you're heading towards a hill, it might be a good idea to shift down in preparation for the climb. The next cue I'm going to teach you is pedal. After you decide you want to shift your gear, you need to pedal the bike. If you're not pedaling, you cannot shift the gears or you risk knocking the chain off. Keep a moderate and constant pace and then shift up or down. When using the left hand to shift, only shift one up or down at a time. When using the right hand, you can continually shift in one direction without having to wait for the gear to complete its shift. And the final cue I'm going to teach you today is flow. You'll be able to tell that you're in the right gear when you're in a good flow. When you're on too low of a gear, it'll feel like your legs are spinning out from under you. When you're on too high of a gear, it will be really difficult for you to pedal the bike and it'll make a lug sound when you pedal. When you're at just the right gear for your body and the terrain, you'll feel a good flow where there's enough force pushing up against your legs to pedal comfortably. So that was the basics of shifting gears. Before we get started, here are a couple tips and tricks I'd like to share with you to help you get started. First is stopping. When you see that you're going to be coming to a stop, it's a good idea to shift the left hand gear down so it's easier to get started pedaling again once you start. After you start pedaling again, you can then shift the gears back up to where you're comfortable for the terrain. Lastly, we need to talk about what to do when your chain falls off. No matter how hard you may try to shift at all the right times, there's always a chance that your chain may fall off. It's important for you to know how to fix this so that you can get right back on and continue with your ride. When you notice the chain is off, apply the brakes gradually and consistently. Pull to the side where you are safe to dismount your bike and lay it on the side where the gears are facing upward and the back tire is off the ground. With one hand, grab the pedal, and with the other, gently guide the chain back onto the teeth. Start spinning the pedal with your hand, and the chain should right itself within a few rotations. So now you know the basics of how to shift the gears on your mountain bike. Keep practicing, and you'll be a pro in no time. Thanks for watching. Bye!